Go live.
We're live.
We are.
Brown 4 is calling Brown 2. Where's Brown 2 tonight?
Brown
4 to
2.
Brown 2.
Brown 2. Oh, where has my Scruffy gone? Oh, where can he be?
Boy, that's right up there with the training Scruffy. That's kind of.
I know, right? I guess we'll just get on with the show.
Right on.
On with the show.
Time for bladder check. Check.
Check.
Check. Wait. Screw it. I'm holding it.
Podcasting, the final audio frontier. These are the legends of Brown Squadron.
Our computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
The ongoing mission? To explore the Star Wars universe and other nerd culture topics. To seek new content and new cantinas, bars, and lounges. To boldly annoy Scruffy by making too many bad jokes. Welcome to the Hyperspace Heroes Podcast.
All right, and we are live. Welcome to Hyperspace Heroes. This is Brown Leaders signing in. All wing report in.
All wing. Brown 4 signing in. Still can't find Brown 2. He must have realized the shield generator is still up.
Oh, I know, right? Something like that. So, yeah. So as you can see, no Scruffy tonight. Scruffy is off on special duck hunting assignment, we'll call it. Yeah, we can call it that. So, and there's no way that he'd be listening in on the show tonight. That's for sure. So
no.
So welcome to episode 126. You guys, welcome to the show. Chat is already lighting up. How wonderful is that? Let's roll right into that. And Max Rebo Experience, happy Friday Eve, everyone.
Right on.
And Carbonites, darn Brown Leader is present. Yeah, for my singing. I used to do a lot more singing actually on this show. Maybe we'll have to bring that back. Maybe not. Carbonites, happy Friday Eve, Max. Ubaldo, hello everybody. Ubaldo, welcome to the show. Let's fly Brown Squadron. What's up, Ubaldo? And great question, Max Rebo Experience. Does any member have the call sign skid mark? Yes, believe it or not, they do. That would be our friend Matt from Yubcast, and he is half of Yubcast. Let me see. I think I could find his call sign here really quick. Because believe it or not, I am a nerd and I keep it all cataloged. Let's see. Skid mark, Brown 8. Actually, I'm sorry. That's Jamie from Yubcast, his partner on Yubcast. Matt is actually Sprocket, which was funny because he was really excited to meet Admiral Akbar at ICC, and Sprocket is the name of a calamari in the game Hunters, which sadly enough has been canceled. Maybe we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But yeah, Skidmark is, and I should have known Jamie would obviously take Skidmark. If you know Jamie, if you've seen that episode, he has been on episodes 8, 44, and 62. So
yeah, it's been a while since we had those guys on.
Yeah, and actually, we were talking last time we had Seppi and Mark on. We were talking with them about tying for first place. Seppi's in first place with, if you count the episodes of ICCC that Matt sat in with us to do on the podcast stage, they're tied for appearances on the show. So I guess we should auction off who wants the next spot so we can maybe make a little money on this. But Max Rebo experience, nerds would keep it memorized. You know, young nerds would keep it memorized. Older nerds gain wisdom, and we learn to start documenting everything because the older you get, the more nerddom you get. And Sprocket from Hunters. Yes, Hunters. He is the calamari, Mon calamari that sits in the little throne chair that they just upgraded. I think this cycle, I don't know if I like him as much, but he's been fun to play. You just said LOL. Sorry. Ha ha ha. Right. Talking about Sprocket. Yeah. So there's chat. And welcome. Chat's already active. Welcome everybody to the show tonight. And yeah, without Scruffy here, I mean, we could turn this into a roast episode. We could turn this into an AMA, as the kids say. But before we get into that, you know, great question. Some shows start off with is what have you been up to, DB?
Oh, well, let's see. Once a week I do a podcast with these nerds. You should listen to it sometime. Nerds. Yeah, you know, life is busy. Life is busy. You know, Scruffy's not here to do the chant, but you know, everybody knows that my Padawan is part of a cheer team that we've been traveling a lot this winter. In fact, they just got back from Buffalo. I didn't get to go to Buffalo with the girls, but they got to go to Niagara Falls. But we got a bid to go to a championship in Sarasota next month.
Oh, wow.
So I will be making a podcast late April because I will be sitting on a beach in Florida, which, you know, what more do you need to say than that? Beach, Florida, we're good.
Yeah, right on. Toes in the sand, right?
Yeah.
Max Rebo experience. I wrote it down so I wouldn't have to remember it. Dr. Henry Jones. Yes.
Yes.
If you're going to pull a quote, what a great quote that is, for sure. For sure. Man, the chat is just keeping us busy tonight.
Well, you know, they're not even talking to us.
Oh, that's a Scruffy call out right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good for you, Vince. That's great.
Oh, you know what? You know what? Since Carbonite started it, okay, now it's a roast to Scruffy. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
Let's talk about Scruffy's driving.
Yeah, so I have a funny story that will relate. It's combines Scruffy, ICCC, and auctions that we'll talk about in Collection Corner.
Oh, that's scary.
Right. And you know what? As long as we touched on this at the end of last episode, and which was with Michael Havens from ICCC, and I think Max Rebo had jumped off, and Adelphi Rangers hadn't tuned in. They haven't tuned into the show for a while, and I'm going to have to give them some heck online about that. But I know Max Rebo is good friends with Adelphi Squadron, and wanted to show these off again, which is something that Adelphi Squadron recently did, which I thought was very fun. Painted up some of his ships in honor of Brown Squadrons. So Scruffy right there, probably, I'm guessing Scruffy in the A-Wing, maybe. I don't know, since that's a little Wookiee. And then, of course, my favorite, the B-Wing. But wanted to show those off real quick, as long as Max Rebo, sometimes he has to dip out early, and wanted to make sure to point those out. But
awesome.
Right? Oh, look at this Carbonite just going. Scruffy is a
nerfer. I think he actually is hurting nerfs tonight. Is it nerfs?
I think he is. Yeah.
Nerfs. What's the plural of nerf?
If they look like ducks, right? So
hey. So that's all the more we need to say. Ducks.
Right, ducks. Yep. He's going a little loony. And then yeah. So thanks for chiming in, guys. So I know one of the things we figured we'd just kind of talk about current events, right, going on in the Star Wars universe. And the first thing, DB and I were talking a little bit about it at work today, and I sent him a clip from the Katie Sackhoff show. She has her own podcast, because who doesn't have a podcast nowadays, as we talk on ours. And she had Ronald D. Moore. And for those of you that do not know who Ronald D. Moore is, shame on you, first of all. But he is a showrunner that has put out some pretty darn good shows. He cut his teeth in the Star Trek universe, came on in the later seasons of Next Gen, and then was he was showrunner for Deep Space Nine, correct? Or one of the showrunners, I think.
I want to say that's correct. I mean, he came on and Next Gen went from being this kind of cheesy, episodic to something that was very serialized. It was oh. But Next Gen took just a dramatic, no pun intended, turn for the better when he came on. And if you ever listen to him talk about Next Gen, he talks about how Roddenberry had this very clean, sanitized universe, and Moore will talk about how they had to do a lot of subtleties to imply things like sex and violence, and it's fun to listen to him talk about that. But he did create probably one of my favorite shows of all time. He didn't create it, he rebooted it.
Right.
And of course, I'm talking about Battlestar Galactica.
Yes. So that is what, I will agree with you on that. And I am trying to bring up his IMDb page here a little bit. But the chat, oh my God, these guys are hilarious tonight. Let's see if I can bring this up. So he kind of brought Star Trek storytelling up a few notches, and his name has been popping up in my feeds. My algorithms have been feeding him to him because not only the Katie Sackhoff bit that he was on her show recently, and we'll get to why in here in just a second, but he did the reboot, the 2005 or 2000. What was it? 2009 reboot of Battlestar Galactica, which I think is one of the best TV shows still. DB and I are kind of in agreement on that. And which I saw a post on that today because it's been 16 years since the last episode aired. Not to make us feel any older. He has done, he did a lot of the spin-offs, one-offs, Caprica, The Plan, other things. Most recently, he has done, for anybody that has Apple and has watched For All Mankind, he is the showrunner behind that, which I've watched all seasons of that. I can't remember. I think 4 seasons. And that's a pretty sweet show. Definitely liking that. I had a lot of fun with that. But he also popped up in my feed because I guess one of the shows that he is a showrunner for right now in pre-development is a God of War series based on the video game. And I know I haven't played that franchise. Have you, DB?
I have not. I know nothing about that video game. But if Ronald Moore is the showrunner, I would lay money that it will be quality television.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because how it popped up on my feed was that somebody we know from another pod was talking about, and I can understand the critique. How it popped up was he, in an interview talking about God of War, mentioned that he couldn't figure out how to play the game. And the critique was that, oh, great, you have a non-gamer in running a, show based on a video game, and how great is that going to be? And to which my retort is, well, in some circumstances, yes, but this is Ronald D. Moore we're talking about. And that alone, even though I never played the games, that alone would make me watch the series.
Oh, exactly. One of the things that we don't hear that about him being associated with very often is he rebooted Bionic Woman right after Galactica. And it might have even been in the midst of the Galactica run. But before Star Wars, I was totally into the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman. And I was skeptical when they were trying to reboot it. and it was fantastic. A very, very dark turn to it, kind of like the reboot of Galactica, but it was phenomenal, and it was people were not ready for it. This is back when we were watching networks and cable and stuff before streaming. I don't think people were ready for that level of storytelling in an hour-long format on network TV, because it was phenomenal. I mean, everything he touches is good.
Yeah, and looking at also at on his IMDb page, he also is an executive producer for Outlander, which I know I've never watched, but the critics seem to love it. It's got 85 episodes, so I'm guessing it's pretty decent, on an 8.3 on IMDb. But what we kind of wanted to kind of circle around to was besides, and it looks like he's in pre-production for a Swiss Family Robinson. That should be interesting.
Really?
But the thing that made the Katie Sackhoff show and has kind of popped up in the news today is that in the interview with Katie, he talked about being part of a writers group for George Lucas's Underworld project, and the fact that he was brought in with several other authors over the course of a couple years, and they would kind of rotate in and out, come together for a few weeks at a time, then go their separate ways, come back, and they ended up writing 40 to 50, somewhere between 40 to 50 episodes of Underworld. And that just boggles my mind. I mean, I know that it was a project George was seriously working on, but the fact that they wrote that many episodes, and that originally George was just going to do what George does, and he was going to pay for the whole production and then shop it to distributors and say, hey, who wants the first ever live action? Because this was pre-Mando, it was pre-Disney, all of that, and it was going to be like, so who wants this? And it would have been interesting to see what the bidding war would have been. But can you imagine that 40 to 50 episodes are written somewhere in somebody's archives?
Yeah, that's more than we have live action now with Disney. I mean, that's incredible. and I'm not knocking what Disney's done. I'm not one of those haters, all Star Wars it is not good Star Wars, but you know what? We're from the generation that lived through the dark times. 16 years with nothing, until Zahn put out those amazing books and kind of rebooted interest. So I like, I read so much of the expanding universe. I like that Disney's putting stuff out. Most of it is quality, but wow, it's 50 episodes and we don't even know what it's around or what it's about, or is it an anthology where you got a piece here and a piece there? And what are you snickering at? What's in the chat now?
The chat is just the point. The guys are having a blast. So I'm going to go back to start with this one because they're having their own. There's a whole nother show going on in the chat right now. So Max Rebo Experience, Carbonites and I don't have a podcast, to which Carbonites responded with, in case anyone was wondering. And then Carbonites was, I signed a non-compete clause with Brown Squadron. And Maya, welcome to the show, sir. Maya has jumped into the chat.
Hey, we know that guy.
Talking about looking forward to that. I love God of War. Those games are so amazing. Max Rebo, keep it up. How many customers do I need to bring to the Carbonite cult before I get a personalized one? Even Scruffy has one. And then Carbonite's responding with processing request, computer answer. And then he said, I'll DM you. We could try to get something going. Carbonite's also welcoming Maya to, and then this Max Revo DB is a ouch. But not sure if that was in reference to, well, yeah, we are. If it's in reference to Ronald D. Moore, I'm shilling. As well. You can call me a shill because the guy's got a proven pedigree in sci-fi and nerd culture. And like I said, I've never played God of War. Never. They look fun, but I'll watch it just because he's running it.
I mean, what's your alternative? You can go watch Jack Black in Minecraft.
uh, kick out Max.
Just saying.
Right. One thing I wanted to bring back really quick, as long as we're roasting, maybe we can get focus off of you being a shill, is we talk about Scruffy's driving. And so I hope that he's safely made it there on time. Well, he made it on time. He could have left 5 minutes late, and he drives so fast that he got there on time. So
he could hit that 88 mile an hour and go back in time. See?
Yep. Or what is it in Star Trek? It's a when
slingshot around the sun,
slingshot around the sun, or something. Yeah, something something to do with the warp envelope and tachyon beams, and So when Scruffy listens to the replay of this, he can.
Yeah, you know who would know that answer would be Ronald D. Moore.
Ronald D. Moore.
Oh wait, I'm shilling again. There we go.
Oh geez. But yeah, I mean, throw in the chat, you gonna watch God of War? I think Maya said he's going to. You're gonna watch that when that comes out. Are you gonna watch the Swiss Family Robinson when that comes out in 2026? Again, depending on what streaming service it's on and what when it's on, I'll definitely give it a try if Ronald's connected to it. Speaking of somebody else that we know, from episode 50, I think it was episode 50. Yeah. So Brown 27, Revo, otherwise more commonly known as author Hugh Howey, who wrote the books, the Wool trilogy, which got turned into Silo for Apple. He's also got Beacon 23 on MGM Plus. I have not finished season 2 of Silo. Shame on me. I really need to do that. But I've read all the books, so I kind of know how it's going to go. But he just posted a picture of him and his lovely bride on the way back to England to film their cameo in season 3. So season 3 is in development. So that's pretty cool. Congratulations to him. I know he had a cameo in season 1. I'm sure he's got it in season 2 as well. But wanted to give him a shout out. We need to reach out to him to see if we can get him back on the show.
See if we can get cameos in his show.
Oh, that'd be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'd fly to London or Toronto, wherever the heck they're
right,
filming.
Totally.
Speaking of, going back to the Ronald D. Moore interview with Katie Sackhoff, I encourage anybody to go to YouTube and watch it. I don't know if you can post a link to that or not, Brown Leader.
Yeah, I'll find it. I'll share it.
Yeah, they talk about how jaw-dropping it is to go to Skywalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Katie Sackhoff says something about, oh, yeah, well, I went with Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, and we just kind of did this and that. I'm like, you're just casually hanging out with Carson Teva? What?
Right?
Right? Whoa. I'm going to start shilling for Teva
jealous.
now, too. So,
Oh, yeah, we always should. We always shill for Teva without a fact. Hashtag Teva for life. But
right.
I was gonna say too before we wrapped up the discussion on this about the Underworld project, but 40 to 50 scripts, they've got to be locked away in the archives at Skywalker Ranch. I can only assume. So that I think maybe we need to reach out to the director of Fanboys and make Fanboys 2.
Right.
And we need to be in that so that we can go raid Skywalker Ranch and go find those scripts, because that's got to be some. I just love to know 40 to 50 scripts. It boggles my mind that they got that far. And, well, as Kathleen said, there's no source material to go to reference. So
yeah, right. Just open that safe, lady. Come on.
Right. Let's see. So Max Rebo, we're all Teva shills, absolutely. Yeah. And Captain Polar Bear.
Yeah, show us the Captain Polar Bear.
Captain Polar Bear right there, baby. Speaking of which, and I think since the Spaceballs dropped from Carbonites, I think Vincent has dropped 2 more lines. And he's dropped one, and he's got another one that's about to drop that has, and maybe we'll bring it up on the screen in a little bit. It's got Vader in the Bacta tank from Rogue One.
Oh,
it's a pretty cool design. So
nice.
Captain Polar Bear, heck yeah, man. Ubaldo, I'll drive. Just one question: who will be the DJ? Yes. You know what? Scruffy's got a thumb drive with a good play mix on it. So we probably have him plug in, and
he's got like 1.5 million songs too. I don't think I ever hear a repeat all the way on our 12-hour drive to Nashville.
Right? Yeah. And miraculously, it didn't play any Guns N' Roses the whole time, and I don't know how that happened. So, which made me happy.
This year I'm going to sit in the back and just sing Mr. Brownstone all the way there for you. Okay.
Well, that's not originally their song, right? Isn't that a cover?
Brownstone? No, I think that's theirs, isn't it?
Paul McCartney and Wings or something.
Spandau Ballet. What?
Spandau Ballet. Yeah.
Spandau Ballet singing about heroin. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. But yeah, so there's a lot about Ronald D. Moore right there, and that's our first half-hour segment of the show today. Sponsored by no Mountain Dew because Scruffy's not here.
Can I just say that for all these video game adaptations that are coming out, my favorite video game movie is still Pixels with Adam Sandler.
You know, I've only seen parts of that. I have not watched the whole thing.
I hate to say it, but it is brilliantly nerdy, especially if you were a teenager in the 80s. It's amazing.
Right on.
And it's got Paul Blart Mall Cop. What's his name?
Yeah.
He plays the president. So I'm just saying you've got to suspend disbelief long enough for that to buy the idea that 80s video games are invading the earth. So
yeah.
Okay, enough of my editorial right there.
Was that another V'ger thing? No, it wasn't. It was something else. Because wasn't something transmitted out in this? Like I said, I've only seen parts of it, but
yeah, they were the alien invaders were basing their attack on 80s video games because they intercepted transmissions from MTV or something. It's great.
That's hilarious. Okay, so moving on to other news. Let's see what else has been going on out there on the interwebs. Can
we do a little ICC talk? Because there's been a little bit of news there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
I mean, we had Mike Havens on the show last week. He gave us a reveal of a guest, but he's put a couple more out there this week. We've got James Sato. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yep.
I'm gonna
Shredder.
I'm going to bring that up on the screen.
Oh, all right. Now. I beat you too. You don't
no, you're fine. No, keep talking.
But he played Shredder in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
He did.
From the 90s.
And that is the 4th TMNT movie person that he has brought on. And it definitely sounds like a full, it's a 35th anniversary. He said, he's a big TMNT fan, nerd from back in the day. And so, yeah, what a 35th anniversary of Cowabunga and giant latex turtles on skateboards and, yeah, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that's great. And then I think just today, Mike put out another announcement and
Yep.
Oh, I forgot about these guys. No, go ahead and show these guys.
Yeah, Uploads of Fun. I'm not exactly sure who they are. It's some sort of, I think they're a YouTube. What's it say here? They're offbeat family comedy videos, mission to build a community for all people through laughter, with an audience over 11 million across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Uploads of Fun. So you know what? what gets me right there is the mission to build a community, and I can fully support anyone that wants to do that because that's what we're into. We love this community, and we love being a part of the community. So we're always up for it. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I bet you their podcast is gonna, when they do the podcast stage, bet you it's gonna be hilarious.
What I like is Mike is making this very family friendly. You can bring your little ones, and you got this comedy, and you've got Peter Prankster, and hey, there's the guy I was going to talk about. He's got on screen Jim Swearingen, one of the original Kenner designers. I think he's been to all the ICCCs so far, and we've had the chance to talk to him several times. And what a legend
he is!
I'm chilling again.
Jim. So for those that, if you're a longtime watcher or listener of us, you know a little bit about Jim already. Jim is the guy that is responsible for our childhoods in terms of toys, Star Wars toys, because back in the 70s when Lucas was shopping the script around to different toy makers to get the merchandising going, it went through a lot of different toy makers, rejected it. It got to Kenner. It dropped from desk to desk to desk to desk, hit his desk. He took it home, read it, came back, convinced his bosses that we need to do this. We need to pick this line up. And the rest is history in terms of toy creation. So, and our interview with Jim, we did, it was probably 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, on the ECPC TV stage. You can find that on our YouTube channel. Under the videos, I uploaded those. I think it was a couple years ago. So
it's at least 2 years now.
And if you pay attention, you can find the moment in the episode where DB says something and Jim doesn't really know how to respond.
Watch for that. His face just goes blank, like you are nuts, man. You are nuts.
Because especially for Scruffy and DB, this was a major fanboy thing when they got asked to do that interview, because there's no exaggeration when it said that he built their childhood because of the toys, and he was a designer, so he convinced Kenner to do it, and he designed a lot of the toys.
If I remember right, he designed the original 12 action figures, which is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you go to ICCC, he will talk to anybody. Just go up to his table and he will just talk to you about his designs. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And what's even crazier is to walk room sales at night and see him holding the toys that he designed.
Yeah.
That's kind of a surreal, very nerdy, surreal experience to kind of see that. And I can only imagine what he's thinking, 40 some odd years later, looking at these, vintage toys, and then being in a crowd, being in a community that is treasuring them so much. That's gotta, I mean, and good for him. He's earned it, right? I mean,
it's totally earned it.
Yeah. Then something else that is part of that, let me flip back to that screen, because Jim is a regular at ICCC, they are doing a special, and let's see if I can.
In a galaxy not
so
far
that?
away,
Yep.
a genius
Okay.
who forged a generation of heroes, Jim Swearingen, the mastermind behind Kenner's Star Wars legacy, unveils his next masterpiece. Autographed, individually numbered, an ICC Con limited exclusive, available to view and order only at the ICC Con store, May 16th to 18th, 2025. Join us and fulfill your destiny. ICC Con 2025, secure your piece of the Force. Visit iccollectorsconvention.com for more.
Yeah.
So he has partnered with Jim. The con has partnered with Jim and a toy manufacturer to design a custom Jim Swearingen ICCC droid, which is pretty dope. Every year they do action figures. Last year it was a Reservoir Dogs theme with some of the characters. I don't normally pick those up, but I may reconsider this year because
I'm right there with you. I usually, they command a steep price and I spend my money elsewhere, but man, this is totally cool.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. Let's see. We'll jump back into the chat a little bit. So back on the talking about the movie earlier. Mini Cooper's is Pac-Man
Pixels.
Ghost. I have seen part of that. Unboxing, welcome to the show, sir. Let's see. Star Trek reference. Yuck. Thank you for speaking up for Scruffy, because I'm sure he'll be echoing that when he listens to the replay. And let's see. DB, if you're not trolling, I may start seriously questioning your taste on movies.
What? No, Pixels is awesome. And I'm not even an Adam Sandler fan, but come on. It's got Peter Dinklage in it, man. That guy is a genius.
Oh my gosh, his part in Elf to this day still cracks me up. Oh my gosh. And then Carbonites, man, that's so awesome. What a legend. Yeah, talking about probably the droid partnership or exclusive that they're going to do. So some very, very cool stuff coming to ICCC, and I don't think he's done with the announcements. I'm pretty sure that he's got more to do that are coming up. And let's flip over to as long as we're talking about cool people doing cool stuff, we're gonna shill for somebody else here now.
Yes.
Let's see if I can find this. All right, here we go. And let's see. Okay. Share the screen. And it is time to give our boy Vincent some attention. I wanted you to see. So this is the new collection that's coming out.
Choked aspirations.
Yep.
I love it. Vincent.
We'll have to. Oh, man, we need to get Spencer on the show. We met him at our first ICCC, or second one. And he was one of the two actors, performance artists that wore Vader's suit in Rogue One. He did not do the hallway scene, but I think he might have done this scene. But I don't know that for 100%. But I think
he said he did do the choking scene.
Yeah. But here is the one. Check that out.
Oh, that's
and I don't know how he's doing. Vincent, how your animation's been great. I got to tell you, your let's see, how do I get out of this? Your animated clips that you're doing right now, dude, very fun, very, very fun. So, got to give you kudos on that. But this was, let's see. Okay, so this was the one that released last week. Fresh off the Republic gunship, doing more clones, and he's also getting a lot more attention on other podcasts and other YouTubers, which I'm super excited about. So if you have not, of course, this is my favorite.
I'll call Spaceball City and notify President Screw immediately.
I already called him, sir. He knows everything.
What? You went over my helmet?
Well, not exactly.
All right, I don't know if we want to get a copyright strike on that or not, but yeah. So anxiously awaiting for the next Spaceball set, that's for sure. But wanted to give throw some of that out there. If you guys head on over to Carbonites, pick up your sets, they're a lot of fun. So let's see.
All I can think right now is how many a-holes do we have on this podcast?
You
know, that used to be part of our name before our name changed.
Yeah, right. The original name of the show. And if you ever wonder, this is episode 126, but 151 on the Spotchka scale. So, and that is for a reason. So, Damien, Mr. David Jones,
hey.
Have a great show, everyone. That would be an honor to be in Star Wars in any way. Right on.
Absolutely.
Max Rebo Experience. He teased Jin, but we got no Jin. I know, right? The Spaceball set, he teased Mog, Barf, and we didn't get him. So I know how you're feeling, Max.
You know what? Here's an idea, Vincent. Think about this for a minute, Vincent. No Jin. you could do a gin, and you could do a glass of blue milk, and you could call the set gin and juice. All right, did I go 290s on everybody here?
You might have lost a couple, but probably
yeah,
not everybody. So let's see. talk to me, DB. And so definitely want to throw that out there. Vincent's killing it. Follow him, even if you don't buy sets from him. Follow him on social, because his social media is definitely a lot of fun to watch. He's putting together great little skits with his Carbonites, so great marketing there. Yeah, I know there's been other things going on, and so I had mentioned it earlier. Star Wars Hunters. So it's made by a company named Zynga. I think the last time you and I did an episode alone, you dropped out for a half an hour, and I did a tutorial on the game. And so,
yes, I had technical issues.
Technical issues, and it's only been out a little over a year in some markets. It's on its 5th season. They're going to release the 6th season on tax day, and you can get one more character, but I haven't played it since the announcement because I've just been bummed. And it's just kind of, I don't know. I guess not enough people were playing it. I'm a little bummed about that, but it was a perfect mobile game, because you could play one round for 5 minutes, or you could play half an hour, 40, however long you want to play. Now, I think its problem probably was it was not as much fun of a game on console. And I don't think they got it to PC yet, and I think it was limited. Yeah, that's right, Max Rebo. I was playing it on my phone and then holding the phone up to the camera. I was trying to do reverse play in front of the camera on the tutorial screen. But thanks for remembering that. I never did learn how to patch it in so that I could stream to this. So maybe we could have saved the game if I'd figured that out. But yeah, it's just kind of a bummer. It had a lot of great fun characters. I know it didn't do very well with the critics, but just fun. And when it goes back to Star Wars, that's what I enjoy. Just fun.
Yeah. What do critics know? Star Wars is supposed to be fun.
But speaking of which, Star Wars Celebration is coming up. It's less than, what is it? Actually, what's it? A month away from now, or just a little over a month away. And they did announce that they're going to announce a new Star Wars game that is a turn-based tactical game. And that's all they've said so far. So I don't think I have time to play a game like that. I had time to play a game like Hunters. But yeah, I mean, always looking forward to new Star Wars games. So, and some of them do well, some of them do not. What was it? I got, what was the last flying one? I don't remember what it was. I bought it, played it a few times, and didn't like playing it on Xbox because the controls were just wonky for me. But yeah, always looking forward to see what new Star Wars games are coming out. But wanted to use that as a crossover to Celebration, because I wanted to ask, and this is for everybody in the chat as well, with Celebration just being a month away, they've announced a lot of guests. They've announced the panels for the show. But what are some things that you, DB, would like to see them announce at Celebration? Or what are some of the things you'd like to see them show?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I'm not prepared for this question. Well, my first thing is, okay, it's in Tokyo. There's what, an 11-hour time difference?
Mm-hmm.
I like to stream these things when they're happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the middle of the day is the middle of the night.
Right, and they did say they're going to be streaming it on YouTube. So,
I mean, I can always watch it after the fact, but I like to watch this stuff live.
Mm-hmm.
What's Maya got going on here?
talking about the game industry. So unfortunately, this is more a state of the game industry in general. If a game isn't instantly $1 billion seller, companies will kill the game without giving any chance to build an audience. So he's probably right there.
Yeah, you are.
In the end, it's all about money, money, money. Squadrons, yes, Max Rebo, you are right about that. Damian J, not long till Andor now. Yes, you are absolutely right. And we actually went through the trailer a couple episodes back, and definitely looking forward to more action on this season and less Lord of the Rings walking and talking. My thinking of Squadrons and unboxing. I'm really looking forward to watching the new season of Andor. Yes, I have a feeling they're going to air the first few episodes at Celebration, kind of like they did with the last Celebration and whatever show was coming out then. They showed a couple episodes. But what do you think is going to be the main highlight of the show? Is it going to be Mando and Grogu? Is it going?
It's going to be Mando and Grogu. You're going to get a sizzle reel,
Andor.
if not a trailer.
I hope so. We're past due. I mean, there was the bootleg copies you could find of the sizzle reel from D23, but those are pretty much gone. So would like to see a clear copy. Would like to see them release it to, an actual one to YouTube for sure. Yeah, there'll be Andor hype. There'll also probably be, I think there's a Visions panel. So definitely look at that. Would make sense since all the animation houses for Vision Season Volume 3 is Japanese animation houses, which, by the way, when that comes out, we don't have a date yet. So I'm hoping it'll be shortly after Celebration, because we will have our friend Justin Leach back on the show, who is the guy that helps coordinate all that with Lucasfilm. So that we can shill over his volume 3 episodes of Visions. So I'll have to change the title of this show. Where is Scruffy while we're shilling? And unboxing. Really looking forward to watching the new season of Andor. Yeah, I think a lot of us are, right?
Yeah, I'm rewatching Andor right now. And again, I go back to Dr. Kempshall, who's been on our show, the historian who made me appreciate the first season, because I was one of those, good Lord, are we going to walk until we throw the ring into Mount Doom, or what the hell's going on here? But my rewatch is I'm appreciating it so much more, and I'm glad I am doing it, because season 2 looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to shill for what's his name, Gilroy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shill for him, because I did not appreciate the first season the first time around. So
and to bring it back to our first half hour segment, that was something else I was thinking about was, people critiquing Ronald Moore with God of War. Tony Gilroy was not a huge Star Wars hardcore fan when he wrote the screenplay for Rogue One, or he became the showrunner for Andor, and those you can't deny those were successes. So I think that just because somebody may not be a hardcore fan of something doesn't mean they can't still produce a good story, because good storytellers, good storytellers will learn the lore of whatever genre they're going into, and they'll develop that lore, or they'll utilize that lore to support a good story, as opposed to just Easter egging the heck out of something in place of a good story.
Right.
And you don't need any more proof than Luthen's shop. There is so much in that shop. It's ridiculous, including Starkiller's Sith suit from the end of the game. So, and that's from a non-hardcore Star Wars fan. So yeah, I wanted to make sure we circle back to that. But yeah, do you think there could be any surprise announcements from Star Wars Celebration?
I think we could get announcements about what's going to happen beyond Mando and Grogu, because they really haven't. I mean, they keep throwing out, we've had Patty Jenkins X-Wing Squadron or Rogue Squadron or whatever. They keep throwing these things out there, and then they just kind of evaporate, and don't happen. I want to know where we're going. What's the next step? Because obviously they're bridging the original trilogy to the sequel trilogy. What's the next step?
Right. And what air...
You have 30 years to play with there,
Yeah. And, hopefully they've got some stuff in the pipe, not a movie lineup. Here's 20 movies that we'll never produce, but, the streaming, what are they doing with streaming? I really hope they're going to shock us with, hey, we've got this new animated series coming out. Because I think, an animated series is easier to keep contained, confidential, under wraps, from a production standpoint. You're not getting people getting aerial shots of set locations or anything. So, and we know they were hiring some animators again. And besides Visions Volume 3, and besides what we can hope, fingers crossed, we're getting a surprise May the 4th Tales of something, like they dropped Tales of the Empire on us out of the blue last year, which was a great way to do it. Absolutely love the fact that we knew nothing about it coming out ahead of time. And I hope they announce some upcoming stuff. What's beyond Mando and Grogu? I keep seeing, because you can believe everything you read on the internet. I keep seeing conflicting Favreau's working on season 4. He's not working on season 4. He's working on season 4. He's not working on season 4 of Mando. So, it's just hard to tell. Let's see. Max Rebo. I'm expecting a Max Rebo movie.
Oh, I still hope you're right.
I would totally go down with that.
We can finally find out what happened to Garza Fwip and Doug Rebo.
Yes. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I fully expect them to announce a Garza Thwip movie.
There we go, Carbonites. You're right. I want to see them sitting on the beach.
You could have a love triangle between Max, Doug, and Garza, and tie it all together. And Doug is the evil, as we know, the evil twin of Max. And yeah, I'd be totally down with that.
I know
the dirty side of the jizz business. So I'm just gonna let that one hang there for a second. If you're a Star Wars fan, you understand that statement. So yeah, okay. I was trying to find, I thought I had a listing of the panels for Celebration. I do not. Shame on me. But
here are the panels: quarter panel, wood panel, side panel.
Wah, 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 wah.
We don't need to do the dad joke of the week. I got this.
Right. We didn't do one last week. We need to do one this week. Yeah, I don't know. Has there been any other star or any other business? Stuff coming up for us. I've been busy working on guests. Don't want to reveal any of them. Working on guests for the spring, possibly early summer. Most of them Star Wars related. I've got one that will be at Celebration, and we're going to connect again after they get back from Celebration to schedule an interview. That'll probably be a Sunday episode because they are from the other side of the Atlantic. Waiting to hear back from a few other guests that we've extended invites to. We have a non-Star Wars one coming up in probably June or July, which I'm looking forward to. And that person may or may not have celebrated a birthday recently that I mentioned on social media. So that will be the only hint I put out there. But yeah, we're working on getting some people lined up, some new faces to the Brown Squadron, some people that have been on screen, some people working behind the scenes, and yeah, looking forward to trying to get them set up. And yeah, I don't know what else to say after that.
Can we talk about the biggest news for our hometown?
Yeah, go for it.
We're getting an Ollie's.
We are, yes. Yes, we are getting an Ollie's finally.
We don't have to stop at every Ollie's between here and Nashville. Well, I mean, we still can, but we're going to finally have our own Ollie's to dig through the junk.
Now we just need a Ross's. So, and we would be all Ross. We'd be all set. All right.
Man, this is the point where I'd usually make some Star Trek reference and Scruffy would roll his eyes. And,
hold up his Mountain Dew bottle.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, so here we go. I've got I'm going to pull out a question from the, where's my box top? The chat pack from Kelly Knox, 125 conversation cards. And I've got one that's perfect because it ties in with Andor season 2 coming out, as Andor season 2 is the kickoff to the rebellion. And this is open to everybody in the chat. So I want to hear your responses. Who do you think is the MVP of the Rebel Alliance and why? That's a great question.
I have my answer. Does anybody else want to pop in before I start?
Well, I think it's going to take him a second to type. So, yeah.
Should I sing the Jeopardy theme or it's raining Scruffy or, you know? See, look at me. I got the music in my head and I'm still bouncing. Okay.
We'll play this.
Sprinkles.
I was just going to do that, but I can't do it the way Scruffy does.
Joy of Sprinkles.
Like, Joy of Sprinkles.
All right, we have a start with Carbonites. Great question. Bail Organa or Wedge? Interesting. And why? Wedge, because you know what? I've talked about Wedge before. Love Wedge. He is. That's why it was such a honor to talk to him, to talk to Dennis Lawson. I've always had a special spot. I've always shilled for Wedge. And I need to go read the Rogue Squadron books. You know, I really do. I don't think I've ever read those, but Wedge is the everyman of the rebellion in terms of the pilots. And, you know, while the heroes are off having little solo adventures, no pun intended, around the galaxy, getting captured and freed and doing this and killing millions of people on a giant space station and all this kind of stuff, while they're off doing their thing, Wedge is one of the backbone vertebrae of the rebellion. He's
the workhorse.
He is the workhorse. So definitely love that. Bail Organa, you know, he quit right when they really needed, right? No, I'm kidding.
Stuff just blew up around him.
Yep. He just blew up and he fell to pieces.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Anybody
else have a good answer?
Yeah, Max Rebo. It has to be Bon Mothma, the trust fund baby herself. You know, so all right, so pretty soon, this past weekend, I recorded an episode with Rule the Galaxy with Joe from Rule the Galaxy and Mark Newbold of Fantha Tracks. And we had a fun discussion. We talked a lot about Andor, talked about a lot of things. We talked about some theories that we had. In fact, I think we ended up renaming the episode Lucasfilm Story Group because we were coming up with so many ideas on things they could do. But one of the things that I thought I could foresee happening in Andor season 2, and this is just my own, just, you know, thinking about the characters and where they end up and if, you know, and what would be good storytelling is, I have a feeling that, you know, we saw Mon Mothma in season 1 as I jokingly call her, half jokingly call her the trust fund baby, right? She comes from a life of privilege. She's trying to move her money around, You can see her and Luthen not quite seeing eye to eye. She sees Luthen as a little more radical, which he is, obviously. I think he is going to do something so heinous and egregious in season 2, possibly the Gorman being the catalyst of the Gorman massacre, possibly. I think he's going to do something so horrendous that it's going to completely vilify him in Mon Mothma's eyes, but that's also going to be the spark that turns her into an even stronger leader, and possibly even be the reason why she gives the speech about the Gorman massacre, then has to go into exile and escape. I'm holding out hope. I think it's going to be Andor that gets her out of Coruscant after that speech. And I've heard some rumors that he might be delivering her to the Ghost, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I mean, we'll have to see, but that's just rumors. But I saw it on the internet, so it's got to be true.
It's got to be true.
Got to be true. But yeah, I think if good storytelling would be something like that, where she has to have that moment in her story where she stops because she's kind of consistently been on the sidelines as a side character to the rebellion. And I think something is going to happen that pushes her to become the respected leader of the rebellion that we see in Return of the Jedi. So, any thoughts, DB?
I have a totally different idea who the MVP of the rebellion is. And it's not one character, it's a group. It's the Gonk droid. Where would they be without power?
Right?
I'm just saying. We've all seen that poster, Gonk, a Star Wars story. You know, we need that movie. Especially when, the Bad Batch had Gonky. Everybody loved Gonky.
Oh, Gonky's great. Gonky's great.
And I'll take any excuse for more Gonk action figures.
Right? Let's see. Maya, R2-D2, he saved everyone's butt more than anyone. Very true.
Well, I don't know. Chopper. I don't know if the Chopper saved more people or killed more bad guys than anyone. I mean, those are two different things.
I listened to an episode of a podcast, and I'm trying to remember whose podcast it was, because I'd like to give them credit, but they tried to do the math on who has killed more people, R2 or Chopper. And I want to say R2 eked it out because of some sort of Imperial frigate or Star Destroyer that he programmed to explode.
I said, does he get credit for being in Luke's X-wing when he destroyed the Death Star? Because but the computer was turned off. Luke took the shot. Oh yeah, he used the Force. Yeah, you're right. Okay, R2 doesn't get credit for that million. Okay.
Yep. Carbonites, Brown Leader speaking ill on the departed shape. Back on my Bail Organa. What if me gives the I think he meant to say Mon Mothma gives the anti-Empire speech after the massacre, knowing full well that Luthen had a lot to do with it. Yeah, right on. Yeah, and I think something in there is like, yeah, right. She disagrees with what Luthen did, but she learns that she has to use it to actually fight the Empire. Yeah, something along those lines.
Well, yeah, you're going to kind of have the relationship with Mon Mothma and Luthen kind of paralleling what Luthen has with damned if I can think of the character's name.
With who? Talking Saw, you talking
Saw, thank you.
Okay, sorry.
You know how he kind of sees Saw as a bit more radical than he is, but he still realizes he needs him to accomplish his mission. Mon Mothma kind of sees Luthen the same way. They're kind of on this spectrum.
Unboxing. Chopper was a killer. Yes, he was, without a doubt. And then Carbonite's chiming in. Chopper is a thug, straight up. And that is true.
Yeah, if he could wear a bandana, he'd be totally thugged.
Yeah, to say who would be the MVP of the Rebel Alliance. I'm gonna say, and this could very well change. I'm gonna go with Luthen, and because Luthen was the one with the vision, even though Saw said he was the one with clarity of purpose. Luthen is the one, you can see him making the overtures in season 1 of trying to get the factions to work together to become the Rebel Alliance. And I think that I will have to go with Luthen, and we'll see if I change my mind after season 2. But without him dirtying his hands and doing the work that's necessary, these fragmented groups would have just eventually been picked off by the ISB. I think. Carbonite's laughing at a response from DB, and then who enjoyed Killer People more, Chopper or BT1? Ooh, good question.
Mm-hmm.
I think BT1 got more evil satisfaction out of it, and I don't know a lot about the character, but yeah, I would think just from what I was reading in what was Dark Droids, where you run into BT1 and his counterpart, they just have a passion for killing, whereas Chopper did it out of necessity, or he wasn't afraid to do it out of necessity. I think there's kind of a difference. Maybe a little eager to do it out of necessity, eager to define what necessity was.
Right.
And then Max Rebo has to be Luke first Death Star, then he redeemed Vader to kill Palpatine. Going back to, I think, to the question of MVP of the Rebel Alliance. Right on. Oh man, so that's a good tie-in. So I said I had a story for Collection Corner, which was I ordered something. I was at the gym working out Tuesday night, and
nobody believes that premise. Come on.
Somehow, so I was in between sets of something, and for some reason I flipped over to social media while I was waiting for my counter to count down to do another set, and I flipped on Facebook, and it went right. It just happened to be the feed went right to Mike's Tuesday night auctions, and at that moment he had a R5 on one of the selections. And so in between sets, I'd go back to see what the bidding was. And I bid on it a couple of times. I've never bought anything off the auction. And I thought, well, if it's not overpriced, I'll get it. And then somebody kept upbidding me $1, up $1. So I did it a few more times just to run the price up on the person that apparently really wanted it. Just because, just to be that guy. The same guy that makes Bail Organa jokes. And I didn't win that. I wasn't going to pay too much for it. And then I didn't realize it, but he had a fifth item off to the side with a second camera, and it was flat things. Like he had some card backs, and I missed the chance on a vintage R5 card back. Not that I don't think I could have afforded it, but then later on, I kept checking back, and it was still even going on after I got home. And he was putting comics on that fifth spot, and the bidding was really low. They were down like $3-4, so I bid like $5, and then somebody else really wanted it, so we kept going back and forth, and I drove them to 10 on one of them, and I did it on purpose. So then another comic went up, and I started bidding on that one just to drive the price up. And I knew I should have not gone above 10, but I went 11 just to egg the guy on a little more, and I won the bid. I won the auction. So because I know Scruffy's not listening to this, he'll be getting a comic pretty soon, as soon as I get it from ICCC. It's Star Wars Marvel number 12, I think. And
number 12, is that when they're on the water planet?
no, it's not the vintage, it's the new.
Oh, the new.
Yeah, it's the new. Yeah. So yeah, I had that water one too when I was a kid. In fact, I might still have it in a box somewhere. But yeah, so that was my funny story. Was I was trying to drive bids up on people just to be a dink, and it bit me in the butt. And I knew I shouldn't have. I knew I was like,
that's karma.
Yeah, it was.
You irritated people all over the country by by raising it up a buck each time.
Yep. And then I did it again on the next comic, which was a Vader annual number 1. But I didn't drive that one as hard, so I was okay. But yeah, that's my my comic. Let's flip over into collection corner, and we'll automatically say it's Thursday, so yesterday was Comic Book Wednesday, and Scruffy got a bunch of comics at the comic book store, and yeah.
I'm waiting for the music.
Oh, my bad. Where is it? See what happens when Scruffy's not here.
Why is it you start recording when I'm saying the dumbest crap ever?
Oops, sorry.
There we had our cameo from Scruff. He's not
cameo from Scruff. All right. Yeah, collection corner. DB.
It's been a thin week for me. I am saving my money for our trip to ICCC, but don't judge me. I was in the Walmarts the other day, and these guys are going on clearance.
Mm-hmm.
$7, man. I got them off Gideon and a Bo-Katan.
Right.
They have all the charm and articulation of the old Kenner stuff.
Right.
So I figure that's $3.50 a figure. That's about what they were, in the mid 80s, before they really tanked to 79 cents or whatever. But I had to get one of these, and this will be an opener because I like that Moff Gideon. It's kind of
cool. It's a good line. I'm really happy with that line, and I wish, if I have one grandson. He's kind of moved on from action figures, so if I have any more, I almost want to go get a few just to tuck away.
Right.
So eventually, when one of my other 5 children have kids of their own, getting to be an old man, kids. Come on. Yeah, I might go back and get a few of them because some of them are still $3, $5, and just tuck. They're great. Actually,
they are
for kids.
And I can hide them in my dioramas, and you really don't know that they're new. That's really all I bought. But I'm tempted to go back and grab a couple more of those for $7. They're pretty cool.
Right on.
But that's really I haven't done a whole lot this week.
So I don't have much to show other than I was playing with this at the beginning of the show. I did buy a new camera for the podcast. An Ozbot, but I noticed that when I had it plugged in for a while, my fan kicked on a lot sooner than it normally does on the computer, and I was getting lag on this. If you go back to the beginning of the show, you'll see a little bit of on it.
I thought you were just doing the robot.
Yeah, probably was. But yeah, got that. Had the story about the comic that's on its way, and then. I shared with you guys offline a couple days ago. I ordered an item that we are going to give away during Andor season 2, or maybe at the end of Andor season 2. So if you're excited about Andor, you really like Andor, you are definitely going to want to keep paying attention to our giveaways.
Is it a lock on Pedro Pascal's hair?
No. No, not quite. It's a little bit of a deep cut, but fans of this show, fans at this level, we talked about it back during season 1. We mentioned it in whatever episode that was. Okay, I'll give this as a hint. It ties in with the episode where we see what Luthen's ship really can do. And I think that was what the last of the Narkina 5 episodes or something. But it's got something to do with something that was in that episode. And I don't have it yet. It has not arrived. And the more I think about it, maybe I shouldn't have ordered it, and I should have just ordered it when we give it away and have it shipped directly to the person. Maybe that would have been smarter. But no, we'll it's very cool. Very, very cool. It's yeah, I'm going to be excited to talk all about that one when Andor starts. And oh, here we go. A vial of Scarif sand. Yes. I live in a resort town. I'm just going to go down. That's a great idea. Oh my gosh. That would be hilarious. We have beaches all over up here. We should go grab a couple of vials. So
I was thinking maybe they were arm floaties that belonged to Kino Loy or something.
Right. Maybe.
Too soon?
Yeah. No. Max Rebo Experience, Cantwell Cruiser from the Solo movie. Was that in the Solo movie? I don't remember. It was in the episode I was just talking about with Luthen's ship. It's the one that's got the tractor beams. I don't remember if it was in Solo or not. Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch Solo. I haven't watched that in a while. So yeah, we've got that coming. We've got great guests that are going to be coming as soon as we lock in dates with them. I took a dive back into the world of D&D. Bought some newer Dragonlance novels recently. I may or may not be studying for a guest down the road in regards to that later this sometime in the summer. But yeah, Star Wars related. And I ordered yours and Scruffy's birthday presents. So
what? Our birthdays aren't for a couple months yet.
I know, but it was like one of those things it's you see it now and you pick it up, and because it was like that's what I'm getting you.
You're like my mother. She would have her Christmas shopping done in September because she knew what she wanted to get you. So.
Right. Nothing wrong with that. So
no.
Let's see. It was in the Imperial Recruitment Center. They made a toy for the movie, but the scene was cut from. Oh, okay. That's why. Okay. All right. Right on.
Oh, look at theirs. That's some deep knowledge.
Dropping some knowledge. Max Rebo Experience. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to look up. I'm gonna write that down. Is that? Do you know if that scene's available online anywhere we can find it? I'm definitely going to be looking that up for sure.
I'm so old school. I probably have that on Blu-ray, and there's probably cut scenes. So
probably. Yeah, I don't think I've added anything. I'm trying to think if Mrs. Brown Leader has been thrifting. I don't think she. Oh, dang it! It's upstairs. I'll show it next week. She did get me something thrifting. So, and it's something sequel based. So,
you just made me remember. Death Sticks came down. Brown 69 came to my office the other day and brought me something pretty cool, and it's still in my office. I should bring it home and bring it on the show next week.
Yeah, right on. All right. Gotta head out early tonight. You guys are awesome. Night, everyone. May the force be with you. Carbonites, Vincent, sir.
Night, Vincent.
Great night. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. And I think we're going to start wrapping up here pretty soon too. So, unless you want to do another trivia question really quick.
Well, you're just opening a can of worms if you start going with, you're talking trivia or you're talking discussion topics?
Discussion topics. Yeah.
No, save it for next week.
Well, dude, we have like hundreds of them. I mean, it's like, that's ridiculous. Um, oh, we're gonna save this one for when Scruffy's back. That's for sure. Oh, here's a simple one. All right. If you could visit a Star Wars filming location, where on our planet do you dream of going?
A Star Wars filming location?
Yeah. That's a great question.
I mean, if the sets were still there, I'd go to Elstree Studios any day of the week.
Right.
But you know, the sets haven't been there for 45 years.
I mean, it was funny because I was thinking the same thing because I was thinking back to our interview with Wedge, Gold Leader, and Biggs about that. Man, to be able to see that would just be
mind-boggling.
And the image of them hanging outside the studio, smoking, getting into trouble while waiting to film their scene in the cockpit. I mean, just man, that'd be pretty cool.
You know, the other thing I think is Norway, because the Battle of Hoth is my favorite battle, you know, within all the films. But I am so sick of snow after this winter. I don't want to go to Norway and see more snow.
That's true. Do you think that hotel that they filmed part of the movie from the doorway of because there was so much snow is still there?
Yeah, I wonder if they have a plaque on the door that says, you know, filming in, you know, December of '79 or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, filming location.
I would, you know what, if I had the ability to do so, I would want to see the Lars homestead.
That would be pretty cool.
Because that is still there.
Yes, a lot of those structures are.
Yeah.
A lot of those structures are. Yeah. That would be pretty cool. And then you know, it's been popping up on my feed a lot lately is here we go, Max Rebo. I take the tropical beaches of Scariff right on.
You can find those filming locales. I'm there with you, Max.
Some people have been speaking of Scariff, some people have been posting pictures. The inside of Scariff base when Jin, Cassian, and K2 first get in there is a mall in England that they redressed and are dressed up for it. And I've been seeing quite a few pictures from there recently. I would Lars Homestead would be great, but I honestly too, just because I think I could work it into like Padme's home where they get married at the end of
Lake Como.
Yeah. Because that's in Italy, right? And I think my wife wants to go to Italy, and if I could work that into a trip,
that'd be so awesome.
And then get our picture taken there, that'd be kind of. And I'd be like, "Well, you have to stand like this, dear," and then have somebody take our picture. And she'd be like, "Why are they taking a picture of our backs?" Don't worry about it; it's fine. Just
and you talk to me about sand.
Talk about the sand. Yeah, put on this lace.
You know, I'd say you could go to Australia and go to any of the prequel trilogy filming locations, but it's just a giant friggin' green screen, so there's not much to see. You know,
right on.
I'd rather go to Lake Como. You're right.
That you know, and it's just a beautiful area in general, so it'd be a great family vacation kind of thing, or with the missus probably. So that'd be kind of cool. So. Let's see, Maya DB. I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, right on. Yeah, but Lars Homestead would be great. Absolutely, can't disagree with that one. Not one bit. So, all right. Anything else, DB? You're thinking of we can cover tonight before we sign off?
Man, no. You know, no. I miss Scruffy. I haven't made enough Trek references.
Right.
You know.
Ronald D. Moore shows he was executive producer on Voyager as well.
Voyager.
Yeah. If you have not watched his stuff, I definitely recommend you look him up on IMDb. Watch some of his stuff. It's good stuff.
And seriously, if you're a nerdhead and have not watched the reboot of Galactica, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I will shame somebody for that. And Yeah.
It's on Amazon Prime. Just saying.
And you get Star Killer before he was Star Killer. So there's a Star Wars reference right there. And in fact, now that you just know what Star Killer looks like and watch Battlestar Galactica, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's Star Killer. You'll recognize him. So he's a secondary character in the show, but
you'll be looking at and going, why is Bo-Katan so young and flying a Viper? I mean,
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. She's in it. But yeah, I think we're good, DB. So thanks for everybody tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. And I got to get to bed because I got to get up at 5. So yeah. So let's if you want to get a hold of us, we appreciate everybody that's been in the chat. Thank you for watching tonight. It's been fun. You know how to get a hold of us. You can find us, DM us on any of our socials. We have DMs open on all of them. You can email us at gmail or at brownsquadron@gmail.com. Stay tuned. Follow us on one of our socials because we advertise all the upcoming episodes. We live stream every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to please subscribe. Click the bell, blah, 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 blah stuff that we're supposed to say to help drive And I would like to drive our viewership numbers up a little bit on YouTube. We're not even at 100 subscribers yet. So if you have friends, if you find us annoying and you have friends that you want to annoy, tell them to subscribe to us.
If you have friends, tell us how to do it. We need friends.
Right on. But yeah, any final parting thoughts before we get out of here, DB?
We're 6 weeks away from ICCC.
Ooh, good point.
Well, maybe closer to 7, but getting pretty stoked. And I get to go to Florida before I go to Nashville, so I got 2 trips coming up.
So jealous. I have a beach vacation planned in September, so that's still a ways away. But the missus and I are going to go toes in the sand in the Keys.
Nice.
Oh, that's what it was. Max Rebo, smash that like button. Yes, sir. Thank you for that reminder. So we're going to go to we'll be in the Keys in September for her birthday, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, fantastic.
We're looking forward to that. I'm going to finally make it to Key West, and I've gone through all the islands down there, but by the time we've driven down there, we're like, Key West is like another hour, then it's another hour back, plus it's 3 more hours to Miami, and it's like, but I think
you got to be committed.
Yeah, I think this time we're going to fly into Key West.
Nice.
And we're staying on Marathon, which is an hour up the Keys, but a lot easier than the 2.5, 3 hours to Miami. But
right.
But yeah, definitely be jealous while you're in Sarasota. So, and Scruffy, dude, I hope you're having fun. Trek, Tachyons, Spock, Nanu.
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. So, all right. This is with that, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you had fun with us. Thanks for everybody that jumped in the chat. We'll be back next Thursday, same bat channel, same bat time, here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. So with that, this is Brown Leader signing off for the crew, and you have been listening and watching Hyperspace Heroes. That's
no moon.
Was it good for you?